John Wick dethroned the Avengers, the trailer for the new Tarantino movie was dropped, and Sony made some pretty big news over the weekend. So let's break it all down in Super Dario news. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Okay, so this is going to become a weekly thing where I just compile all the news from the weekend that I missed. I know that the last couple of days were all Game of Thrones. It was a big deal. We had to talk about it. Plus, I had Eddie join me. But today, a lot of stuff happened, and I want to talk about it. But before we get into it, just a quick reminder that Super Dario World is now a part of the iHeart Network. It's a part of the show's podcast network. So if you want to find it, go to the iHeartRadio app and type in The Show Presents, Super Dario World, or just type in Super Dario World. It should show up right there. If you can't find it there, go to the Rock 1053 page, rock1053.com, click on the podcast tab. You should find it right there. Or on the follow along with the show page. Again, the daily article is right there. If you still can't find it, go to my Instagram, @DarioTheShow. The link is in my bio. You should be able to find it right there. As of right now, though, you can still find it on SoundCloud, YouTube, and iTunes. Just type in Super Dario World Podcast. However, I will be transitioning out of those soon. We're just basically waiting for iTunes to approve the new one. After that, I will give it one more week, and then we will fully transition into the iHeartRadio app. So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you guys, and I hope this is helping. But okay, let's hit it. So the third film in the Keanu Reeves action franchise, John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, hit theaters this weekend, and just as I called it last week, it was fantastic. Everybody's loving it. It's maybe the best John Wick yet. It's debatable. People are loving it. The action is insane. You can go back and listen to my review of the movie. I have nothing but great things to say about it. Now, big news came over the weekend. The first one, there's two big pieces of news. The first one is that for the first time since its release, Avengers Endgame has been beaten in the box office, and the movie that did it was precisely John Wick 3, with it making $56.8 million on its opening weekend, while Avengers merely made $30 million. The losers, right? Oh my god. Anyway, so that's the first big news that came down. The other one might be a bit of a spoiler for somebody. I don't think it is, but just in case, for the next 30 seconds, I'm going to say something that might be a spoiler. So 30 seconds starting 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so it was announced on Monday that John Wick Chapter 4 already has a release date. So it has a 2021 release date, May 21st, 2021, which I believe is super quick. It's 2 years to make these action movies. And so far, I mean, I would think that it's a little bit too quick, but so far the quality they have been showing us is fantastic. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And that my 30 seconds is up. So hopefully you're as excited about that one as I am. I love the way that this franchise is going. I want to see more of it. But okay, 30 seconds is up. We're back. Spoiler-free country. Hopefully you're as excited about that news as I am. But let's move on to another thing that I found really interesting. J.J. Abrams, the director for the newest Star Wars movie, Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, has confirmed that the Knights of Ren will appear in Episode 9, which is fantastic. One of my biggest complaints about The Last Jedi was that after J.J. Abrams set them up in Episode 7, director Rian Johnson completely eliminated the Knights of Ren from the storyline and from Episode 8, which was a huge bummer because they looked really cool. So Vanity Fair tweeted out a picture in which you can see J.J. Abrams alongside the Knights of Ren. They look really cool, really fantastic, so I'm really happy about that piece of news. I could speculate all day on their role in the movie, what they're going to do, how it's going to happen, how they're going to be used, but it would all be just speculation, so let's move on to something a little bit more concise. The trailer for the 9th Quentin Tarantino film dropped this weekend. The film is called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it looks fantastic. Do yourself a favor and check out that trailer. You can just find it on YouTube. You can find it everywhere. Right now, it's making huge news. It may be the biggest film of the year, and I'm not kidding. I mean, it won't make more money than Avengers Endgame, but it may be the most important film of the year. I'm speculating right now. I'm on a high. I just saw the trailer, and I'm on a Tarantino high. Which, by the way, since it's his 9th film, I think I can afford to do some rankings on Tarantino movies. I think, but I'll do it closer to the movie's release. I will do a rankings of the 8 best Tarantino movies, I think it should be easy to do. Actually, no, now that I think about it, it's going to be pretty hard, but I'm up to the challenge. I will do that closer to the movie's release. Anyway, here's the premise of the movie, straight out of IMDb. A faded television actor and his stunt double strive to achieve fame and success in the film industry during the final years of Hollywood's golden age in 1969, Los Angeles. So there you go. That's the premise of the film. But the thing that makes this movie very interesting is its monster cast. It's got a heavyweight cast on this one. Check it out. The main character, well, the faded television actor, who's going to be played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and his stunt double is going to be played by none other than Brad Pitt. So Leonardo DiCaprio has not done anything since he won his Oscar for The Revenant, which was in 2015. So not only is this DiCaprio's big return since The Revenant, since his Oscar, it's also his second movie with Quentin Tarantino, which you may remember he played the villain in Django Unchained, Calvin Candy, Mr. Candy. That movie was fantastic. His performance was fantastic, so I'm very excited for that one. Brad Pitt, he's been in a few things, but he's done mostly secondary stuff. I don't know why he's done cameos. He did a cameo in Deadpool 2. He was the invisible guy, which is hysterical. He's also done some weird weatherman stuff for the Jim Jeffries show. I don't know why. But this is his first movie since Allied in 2016. He also appeared in War Machine, which was an Netflix exclusive. But, theatrical release, it's the first one since 2016. So, both of those actors, two heavyweights, they had not really appeared on screen for a while. And it's also their second time working with Tarantino, because if you remember, Brad Pitt worked with Tarantino for Inglourious Basterds, which came out a decade ago, 2009. Wow, time flies. Anyway, the rest of the cast includes Margot Robbie, which you may remember from Suicide Squad, I, Tonya, The Wolf of Wall Street, Timothy Olyphant from Santa Clarita Diet, also from Deadwood. You got the Tarantino vet, Michael Madsen from Reservoir Dogs, Kill Bill, etc. You got Luke Perry. I think this is his last film. Luke Perry from 90210. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was his last role ever. You got Emile Hirsch from Into the Wild, Lena Dunham, who's probably the only downer on this list. Also James Marsden, who plays Cyclops in the original X-Men movies, as well as, Dakota Fanning, Kurt Russell, and Al Pacino. You may have heard of them. So the cast is fantastic. It's an all-star cast. The director, Quentin Tarantino, might be a total psycho in real life, but the man knows how to make movies. He has a unique vision and knows how to bring the best out of his cast. So like I said, this might be the biggest movie of the summer, and I don't want to overhype it, so just check out the trailer for yourself. Let me know what you think. And you know what? I might also have to do a rankings for the best DiCaprio and best Brad Pitt movies, because there's a lot of stuff that I could do with this movie, so I need to think what I'm going to do for sure. I know that for sure I'm doing the Tarantino rankings, but I need to think what else I can do, because there's so much here. There's so much to do. But anyway, let's move on to the next piece of news. And here's where we enter the video game realm. Okay, so we have two big pieces of news from the video game world that came out recently. The first one is that Game of Thrones writer George R.R. Martin, the creator of the books A Song of Ice and Fire, announced that one of his multiple projects is that he did consulting work for a video game with a video game studio from Japan. The video game studio was From Software. That's the name, From Software. These are the developers of the Dark Souls series, the developers of the Bloodborne series. Anyway, those are kind of universally considered to be the hardest games out there. In fact, what most Dark Souls players usually say that you need to do to pass a game is you gotta get good. The only way to beat the game is you gotta get good. It's really annoying, but I'll give it to him. It's one of the best phrases out there. Anyway, so it's not confirmed that it's going to be a Game of Thrones video game, but honestly, I don't care. It would be great if it's a Game of Thrones video game created by From Software, but if it's something from the mind of George R.R. Martin, who's very brutal in his storytelling, created by From Software, who are very brutal in their gameplay, it's going to be freaking fantastic. I'm super excited for this news. Even just for the possibility of things that could happen from this is amazing. So hopefully it is a Game of Thrones thing, and hopefully it is as hard as it possibly can be. I hope it's closer to Kingdom Come Deliverance, but who cares? Honestly, I'm excited. This might be the first Dark Souls game that I actually play, because All the other Dark Souls game, I've always said, I've never seen anybody have fun when they play a Dark Souls game. They love them. The people who love Dark Souls love it to death. But I've never seen anybody while they're playing it is having any fun. So, I don't know. I guess I'll finally join the club because this pairing sounds like a can't miss. Anyway, the other bigger news that came down over the weekend is that Sony announced the official launching of PlayStation Productions, which was created specifically to adapt the company's game catalog into films or TV shows. So this sounds fantastic because usually the problem with video game movies is that they are made by people who don't really understand video games or never played them. But if Sony starts making their own stuff in-house, their own productions, that could be game-changing for the video game, movie, TV show adaptations. Now, here's what Sean Layden, the chairman of Worldwide Studios at Sony Interactive Entertainment, had to say about it. We've got 25 years of game development experience that's created 25 years of great games, franchises, and stories. We felt that now is a good time to look at other media opportunities across streaming or film or television to give our worlds life in another spectrum. End quote. Now, they say that they already started production for a few projects. They haven't confirmed which ones. So here's where the fun speculation begins. What would you like to see? I know some of the ones that I'd like to see. So I already have planned what I'm going to do for tomorrow. But on Friday, I'm going to put up a poll. So tomorrow, after the show's done, I'm going to give you, this time I'm giving you more than enough time. I'm giving you a heads up. Tomorrow, look at my Instagram, at Dario the Show, and I'm going to put up a poll at around 10, 11 a.m. asking the question, what Sony exclusive would you like to see turn into a video game? I will give you 9 options. So I will spend the day trying to figure out what 9 options are the best, because they have so many great titles. They have the God of War franchise. They have the Uncharted franchise. They have Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a newer one. They have The Last of Us. They have Bloodborne. They have The Last Guardian. They have Shadow of the Colossus. So they have so many great franchises that would be great turned into either a TV show or a movie. So like I said, I'm going to spend the rest of the day, well, not the rest of the day. I'm going to try to narrow it down. And to make things a little bit easier, I'll only stick to games that have come out for the PS4. Because if I go all the way back to the beginning, this is going to be impossible. So again, I'll bring it down to 9. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., I'm going to put up a post on my Insta story asking the question, which one of those 9 would you most like to see turned into a movie or a TV show, okay? And on Friday, I will read you the results of that poll. Again, this is going to be 100% you. You're going to tell me what you think, and I'll just give you the options. So, okay, that's the big news for the world of video games. It feels like somebody finally is starting to get it, that filmmakers don't understand video games and video game adaptations. Because unlike movies and TV shows, which I love, by the way, I love both of those things. I love them too much. Video games are an interactive experience, meaning the story of the video game doesn't happen unless you do stuff. You are directly participating in the story. You get to live it. You don't just experience it. You're not just a spectator like in a movie. You are an actual participant in the story. So the most important thing when you're transferring from one medium to the other is you need to understand what's at the heart of the story. What makes this story special? What is it that after I cut out the interactive part will still keep people attached to what they're seeing on screen? And that's the challenge, keeping the heart of the story alive. So let me give you an example. Assassin's Creed. And the premise of the video game, for those of you who haven't played it, is basically a man who gets tied up to a machine called the Animus, where he can relive the memories of his ancestors. That's pretty much it. So anybody who's played the game, I can't say anybody, but I'm going to say the majority of the people who played the game know that the current time stuff sucks. The fun part of that story, the fun part of that game is the story of the ancestors. When you go back in time, it's when you are the assassin. That's the fun part of that story. That's the heart of it. But if you watch the movie adaptation with Michael Fassbender, who's a great actor, by the way, they focus way more on the current day stuff than the stuff in the past. And same issue. The interesting stuff, it's what's happening in the past. The thing that people care about is the thing that's happening in the past. The current day stuff is actually kind of stupid. And so it's something that people tend to forget when they're playing the game. You forget the stupid part of it, and you focus on the action part of it. You focus on the fun stuff. So if that movie would have been made solely focusing on the ancestor, it could have been fantastic. It could have been an amazing film. But they didn't. They focused more on the current day stuff. And while it was somewhat accurate to the game, you could tell that the dude who wrote it never played the game. Because if he had, then he would have understood that, oh no, the fun part is the other stuff. That's what people want. Because cutscenes aren't always the story of the game. Cutscenes are kind of a reward that lead you somewhere, but or that pushes the story forward or that sends you to another level. But usually the meat of it all is the journey. That's what we care about. We care about the journey. A cutscene's just a reward that's going to send you somewhere else. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but it makes sense to me. So you can't just get all the cutscenes from a video game and be like, okay, that's the story. I'll write it down, blah, blah. But, I mean, you can, but you're going to lose all the heart. The heart is the conversations that happen between characters while you're walking around. The heart is how you feel in a certain situation, the desperation in a game, the anxiety, the action, the things that get your blood pumping, the thing that makes you care about the character on screen or all the characters on screen. So that's a hard challenge, but I think that the people who are most adept at taking it on are the people who've actually created the video games. So far, it's just filmmakers going in to get the rights for a video game and trying to turn it into a movie. It hasn't worked. Now let's give the video game studios a chance to create their own film studios. And, I mean, they wrote the stories. They know what the point is. They've gotten all the feedback. So hopefully they'll be able to give us something that we want. Because people have been craving for a good video game adaptation for a while. We love video games. We would love to see many more titles come on screen. So hopefully this is the wave of the future. Hopefully other studios will start doing the same. I don't know. The point is, big news for both the film world and video game world. I hope you are as excited as I am. And so before I sign off here, let me just give you a quick reminder that tomorrow at 11 a.m., I will put up an Instagram story with a poll. There you can answer me. At Dario the Show, there you can answer. From the 9 options that I give you, which one of those Sony franchises, these are PlayStation exclusives for the PS4, which one of those stories would you most like to see turn into a film or a TV show? So I'll leave that for you tomorrow, and I'll break down the poll results on Friday. But for tomorrow, since the new live-action Aladdin will be coming out this Friday, I found a list that ranks the best animated movies of the 90s, and I decided to break that list down tomorrow for Throwback Thursday. So hopefully you're as excited about that as I am. I only did a quick peek on it, and I have a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts on how they ranked them, but I'll save that for when I break down the list. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.